So one of the first things about dating in the Western world that I noticed that doesn't work is that we use only one of our 5 senses to look for love. Which sense do we use to look for love? The eyes. Okay, we're supposed to find love by looking. We're supposed to be able to tell with one swipe left or right if this is going to be someone I could fall in love with. And if it looks like a movie star, I should be able to fall in love with them. And if it doesn't look like a movie star, I shouldn't be able to. So in Tantra, we develop all 5 senses. And we try to start taking ourselves away from our knowledge in our brains, all our knowledge of what this person should look like and act like and talk and squawk like, and go into this place where the knowledge doesn't reside, which is the body. So let's right now drop back in and remember this feeling of being one with my body and not just in my mind, and imagine taking this with you on a date. Just for a moment. You don't have to go really deep, just I was one with my body. I'm a little bit back now in my mind because we all hang out in our minds because we're all smart and we're information junkies and we want to know what this Tantra thing is. But let's go back in and be our whole body, our whole self, all the way down to the tailbone. In this room with other people who are also in their bodies. And we're not necessarily looking around to see who's got the hottest body. We're just being with bodies. We're just being with a body with other bodies. In contemporary dating, we got to look real quick to see if this body's hot enough. But when we're actually being a fully embodied tantric person, we're enjoying being in a body with other bodies. It's a completely different perspective. So Saraha said he had to drop his knowledge. And we have, all of us, imbibed a lot of knowledge about dating and who to date and what's going to make a good relationship. We've done this from our friends, from internet articles, from YouTube videos, from watching Hollywood movies. We know how dating is supposed to go, who's supposed to look like a good candidate. The closer they are to a fashion model / rock star / YouTube influencer / did I already say movie star, fashion model? Then they're a good candidate. And that is our knowledge about dating.
I think where I have trouble with love may be because I'm afraid of other people's needs, needing. If that's why, like sometimes it's hard to love in that moment, that coffee 45 minutes, because I think you can be afraid of what that person is going to need from you when you need to give love to yourself. And that maybe just mean that.
So needing a stronger sense of your boundary between yourself and this other person, a stronger sense of your own skin where you end and they begin.
Yeah,
it's like being too permeable to their neediness.
Yes. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by what they need.
Okay, so it's a little bit too much focus on it. So perhaps an imbalance in focus on the other person rather than staying fully inside myself, in my own strength. Because what's happened is that you're feeling a pull from that person rather than being able to sit solid in your seat in spite of their pull. So women often are taught to go towards the other person and not to pay enough attention about staying in our own strength. So your heart chakra is probably more open than the belly and the root. Okay, so you would work on strengthening so that you're not getting pulled by people. So you can sit and go, oh, that person is very hungry. Right? I notice that and I have compassion for that hunger, and here's what I can give right now, and that's all. But I don't feel like I'm afraid that I will give more. So strengthening here. Okay, waking this up. Yeah, all these exercises are good for waking this up so that you're not overly in the heart and be toppled over without a strong seat. You know, it's a really, I actually wrote an article on this in my other book. It's really a piece of wisdom that almost everyone has come to believe in, which is that you have to love yourself first before you can love someone else. Everyone just doesn't even question that. And I used to believe that, and I tried very hard. And now what I've come to believe is you learn to love yourself by sharing love with other people. You sit there, and if your whole practice is to learn to love yourself, that results in narcissism, self-sufficiency, coldness, being on your phone and not relating to the person in the elevator with you. So there's a certain truth to learning to love yourself, but I believe that in interaction with another person, we learn how to love ourselves and how to love other people. You know, plenty of people are in long-term committed relationships and they don't really love themselves. But they're in this relationship. I was taught through New Age mumbo jumbo that I couldn't find a relationship unless I learned to love myself first, and that has not been my experience. So I think it's a bit misguided to be setting out on a pursuit of learning to love myself, because love is the connecting force of all of us. It's our connection. It's an energy of connection and unity and being one with everyone. It doesn't exist in a vacuum, all me by myself. That's self-absorbed and self-obsession. That's my opinion. So by connecting, by coming into a room on a date, we feel, what's my connection with this other person? I may never see them again. This to me is called love. Instead of looking for how I'm different, I look for how I'm the same. And then the world becomes a more living place. It becomes safer to sit in my seat if I'm sitting in love with people instead of what's wrong with them, how fast can I get out of here? So we have to find ways to get touched. Like I said, my one patient was like, I gotta go get a manicure. Doesn't solve the problem, but it was that hungry. Because you sit alone in your apartment with Netflix and you're too lonely. You guys know that loneliness has been named by the World Health Organization as detrimental to health now, an epidemic as bad as smoking and heart disease. That's what we're creating. So yes, that bodily hunger, that's part of the reason why we stay separated from our bodies, because if we tune in, we're going to notice the body wants to be touched, the body doesn't want to eat this food, the body wants to lay and snuggle with somebody and there's nobody there. And we are afraid because the body would have us live differently, perhaps, than how we're living. So when you open up, you find out, yes, I want to be touched a whole lot more. I want to live in I want to strengthen my connection with my body and become rooted in it and pay attention and give it what it needs.